Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Hawk Blogger Mornings. I am Brian Nemhauser, and I've been promising you this episode for a little while. This guy is a media darling already, only a few weeks in. I sit here at this table, and I watch this guy walk back and forth, seeming like every day. Everybody wants a piece of Robbie Utes, man. It is good to have you back. How you doing?
Sir. Doing great. Glad to be on the show. Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. Well, last time I talked to you, you just gotten engaged.
Mm-hmm.
You came out here with your fiance, and we're kind of experiencing for rookie minicamp. You got to see a little bit of the state. What are your first impressions of Seattle?
Love it so far. Very beautiful. Weather's perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a dream come true being out here.
Well, I know you went back to Bama, and then you came back out here. Mm-hmm. Where are you in terms of getting settled here?
We're about 80% of the way settled.
Okay.
Got a little rental spot. I got most of our furniture and belongings out here. There's one more shipment that needs to get out here, but my fiance's parents are coming to kind of help with that transition this weekend. So,
well, if I'm not mistaken, you're about a month away from a birthday, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Your birthday is like the day before the season opener.
Yep.
So what do you think you will do on your birthday, the day before, hopefully, you play your first game at Seahawks?
Probably be locked in on my birthday. Won't really celebrate until afterwards. Hopefully we get a win. That'd be an awesome birthday present. But maybe go try something nice for dinner in downtown Seattle or something.
What's your go-to when you talk about something nice for dinner? What's on the Robbie Utes menu?
Steakhouse, bourbon, Caesar salad, kind of along those lines.
Yeah, solid. So I know you're a golfer as well, man.
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing you're not getting a chance to golf much now, but did you hit any courses while you were out here before?
No, I think the last I told you was Bear Mountain out there at Lake Chelan.
Okay.
That was beautiful.
Yeah.
I haven't really got to get out there.
Oh, well, we'll have to keep that. I think the first time we talked, you'd had your PR, broke 80, and we'll have to see if we can get you back out to that.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, man. You played at Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, renowned program, hard-nosed, physical. How does that compare to what you're experiencing out here in your first NFL training camp?
It's a different type of challenge out here. I'd say Bama, there's no doubt the physical challenge is there. And out here, it's a different type of psychological, just adapting to the game speed of the NFL. That's kind of the biggest hurdle I've been faced with so far. And, just IDing defenses and, rep after rep, it slows down a little bit more and, just keep knocking it out that way.
Well, that's actually one of the things I wanted to ask you. We're talking to Robbie Utes, your rookie fullback for the Seahawks. People kind of know what quarterbacks do pre-snap a little bit. They know what an off-ball linebacker does. I'm curious, what are your eyes paying attention to when you're getting ready pre-snap to, make sure you're prepared for what's to come?
Right. So I'm hearing my call in the huddle. There'll be a certain portion of the sentence that applies to me. So I hear that. I know kind of what my series of assignments could be. And then as I'm walking up to the line of the scrimmage, I'm looking at the defensive structure, looking at the D-line, seeing what front they're in. And then I'm looking at the safeties, if they're rotated, strong, weak, what have you. And that kind of determines what my assignment for that specific play is.
And when there's blocking assignments at the line level and the center's changing things or whatever, is the fullback have to be part of that? Yeah. So you're that conversation is not just at the line; it's also being communicated back to the fullback.
Definitely. And the better I get at this thing, I could potentially see a call before the center gets to it. So I kind of already know what's going on, and I can expect, hey, this center's about to make this call, and kind of be on top of it that way.
Well, and people know players make transitions from different positions, on the line, defense, offense, that kind of thing, but tight end to fullback, people Robbie's gonna be fine. He'll figure it out. It's a pretty different position being off the line, having to target people, having to, lead your back. Mm-hmm. How's that transition going for you?
It's going great. Just been getting a little bit better at it every single day. I've said before, Coach KP has been phenomenal in kind of opening my eyes to what a fullback's job is and how he plays the position. And, just learning to attack guys with that power foot, that lead foot, like he says, getting in a position of power and knowing kind of, if you know the structure, you kind of know the defensive guy's rules, what he can do, what he can't do, so you can anticipate. how that block is going to go down.
When you watch fullbacks on other teams or tape of fullbacks, maybe in this offense, what are you looking at? What do you see that you're like, oh man, that guy had a great rep there? What stands out to you?
I'm kind of looking at the defense first, seeing what his assignment is, and then I'm kind of watching his eyes, how he's what his pre-snap read is, and then as he's attacking his assignment, I kind of want to see like body position, what he's anticipating. You can tell what he's anticipating from the defense, from the linebacker, if you will, and just how he delivers at the point of contact.
Mike Robinson seems to be around a lot. Former Seahawks fullback. You guys had many conversations?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, just the other day, he got on me about my hands and pass protection. They were a little bit lacking there, and he came up and he grabbed my hand. He was like, see these things? Use these things. And I was like, yes, sir, you're right. I need to be a little bit better in that department.
What does that mean? Like, obviously you're using your hand. So is it placement or what shows up?
I think I just get into position blocking a little bit, kind of going back to that tight end mentality. And, he really just wants me to step into contact and really punch with my hands instead of, kind of playing basketball defense, if you will, kind of sliding back and forth.
I've seen you play something that did not resemble basketball plenty of times on the field already when pads came on. In particular, I remember a collision between you and Tyrese Knight in the hole a few days ago where you both, no one gave an inch. It was great to see. Anyone stood out to you where you're like, you've seen them coming on the other side and you're either like, okay, this is going to be a big one. How has that been finding people in the hole?
It's been pretty good. Just, I guess, kind of learning. Each player kind of has their own tendencies. So some guys will take you on, head on. Some guys will try to work a finesse or speed move around you. So just really picking up on tendencies is kind of what I've been focusing on.
Well, and it's not just you at fullback. Obviously, Brady Russell started out. You guys were sharing the position. Now he's moved more to tight end, but still does a little H-back stuff. You guys bring very different things to that position. What's it been like getting to know Brady Russell?
Oh, he's been awesome. He's been that vet kind of figure for me, and especially on the special team side of it, just kind of giving me tips and tricks. And whenever we do get to go against each other, he tells me, hey, this is why I did this move, and like you got to do this to counter that. So it's been awesome having him around. You
are a couple days away from your first preseason game in Lumen Field, assuming that the coach is going to let you out in the field. What are your thoughts? What are your expectations for that first game, stepping out as a professional football player?
Just excited to finally put something on tape, get some live reps, just attitude and effort. That's the two things I'm focused on. Everything else will fall in place. Just remember my coaching.
What's your impression, or how would you describe this team? If someone's like, hey, man, I've never seen the Seahawks play. I don't know who the coaches are. I don't know any of the players. How would you describe this team to someone who is uninitiated?
I'd say youthful and physical, kind of my two words I go to, especially on the offensive side. I feel like we're a young, talented team, but at the same time, we have that physical mindset, and we're gonna dominate our opponent, especially up front.
What's your impression of, how do you feel about your rookie compatriots, your rookie class? You guys spent more time together, less time? I mean, how's that going?
Oh, yeah, it's been awesome. Just proud of those guys. Each and every one of those guys has made great strides since we initially got here in May. And, just proud and excited to see where those guys go this year.
Now, you had a front row seat for Jalen Milroe from the moment he stepped on at Alabama to now, his first practice here. For my eyes, I'll tell you, I saw him at Senior Bowl, and he seems like a almost different passer than he was just a few months ago. Have you seen him make progress?
Yeah, just confidence. That's all it goes down to. I mean, I can tell when he first got here is a little bit uncomfortable, which, I mean, all rookies are.
Sure.
And just seeing him develop that confidence in the pocket and, go through those progressions faster and faster and making those decisions. And then, as with the confidence comes his ability to let out his real ability is speed. Like, he can take off and he can make any play on the field at any given time. So, just excited to see where he goes as well.
And Sam Darnold's obviously the starter. You're in there a lot with him. Describe what Sam's like in the huddle and what he's like off the field.
He's just that leader. He's that natural-born leader that, I've heard stories about in the NFL, playing with guys like Rodgers and vets. Like, I guess Kirk Cousins now would be kind of that tier as well. So just walking in that huddle, he's got the huddle in control, and he's telling the guys to play and making checks and audibles and all sorts of stuff. It's a dream come true playing with him.
All right, a couple more questions before I let you get back to it. So, you've got all sorts of characters in this team. Tell me somebody that maybe makes you laugh on this team that maybe people wouldn't expect. Maybe they would. Is there somebody that when they speak up,
Bobo, he is so funny. He'll make little side comments and stuff in meetings, and I'll just be rolling laughing, and nobody will see me. But he's a comedian, natural born.
Well, I think this team's got a lot of personality, and a lot of it comes from your rookie class as well. You guys all seem to have a point of view on the world and your place in it. I think people are going to really appreciate it. Now, your first game, last question for you, is coming against a guy that is a Seahawks legend in Pete Carroll, and also the guy that was the quarterback last year in Geno Smith. Even though it's a preseason game, does that register for you at all that this is a game that will have some significance in the Seahawks franchise history?
I mean, yeah, I guess you could say, but just going back to that Coach Saban mentality, the most important game is the next game. So treat every next game like it's your last, like it's your Super Bowl, if you will. So
one more thing. So you've got all sorts of running backs in the backfield, wide variety of running styles. Does that change anything for you in terms of how you're approaching your job when it's Zach Charbonnet versus Kenneth Walker versus George Holani or Damian Martinez? Anything change for you, or you just do your job and they do theirs?
Yeah, I just do my job, and each of those guys have the ability to kind of make me right and have their own spin on it, whatever moves they make. So my thing is, just clear a hole for them and let their talent take over.
Do you guys talk about, like, here's what I saw, this is what you saw? Is there a coordination there to kind of get on the same page?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
All right. Well, Robbie, man, I want to let you get going because I know you got a big practice ahead. Thanks for coming on. Always good to see you.
Yes, sir.
Robbie Utes, number 40 for your Seattle Seahawks. We'll definitely see him again and see him on Thursday at Lumen Field. Thanks, dude. All right, so that was Robbie Utes. The guy's on every single show. So if you haven't seen him yet, you've seen him now. And this is a guy that I am – it's just destined to be a fan favorite. There's no doubt about it. He's all business. He's actually he's a character that I couldn't quite get surfaced in that conversation, but I think he's all business when it comes to this stuff, and he wants to make sure he's putting that forward. I think this is a guy that's going to help set the tone and the identity for the Seahawks team, and it's a position the Seahawks haven't really had for a while, at least a meaningful player in that role. We've seen the Mike Robbs during the Super Bowl era. We saw the Max Strongs during the other Super Bowl era, and we've seen Will Tukuafu, and obviously way back in the day, John L. Williams and folks of that nature. But I think Robbie Utes has a chance to be a very memorable player for this team. I think he's an underrated aspect of what's going to be required for this team to be great, which is they're going to have to be a really good running team, and they're not going to be a really good running team if Robbie Utes is not a central figure in creating those holes. So I can tell you from what I'm seeing on the practice field, more and more, he is making an impact as the days go by and as this scheme kind of catches fire, which it did yesterday. It was just a fantastic day for the Seahawks offense yesterday. I'm curious what they will be doing today. You're 2 days away from that first preseason game. They were in pads yesterday. The fans are here today. Wouldn't surprise me if they're not in pads today. Tomorrow, I'd expect for sure they're going to be in shells or shorts and just do kind of an ACT walkthrough the day before they put on pads and play in the preseason game. Now, there are a couple bits of news I wanted to touch on before we wrap up here. Kyren Williams, the running back for the Rams, signed a 3-year, $33 million contract. He is someone who is important to keep an eye on because obviously the Seahawks have their own young running back that is up for an extension. And they were both drafted in the 2022 draft. So Kenneth Walker was taken in the second round. And Kyren Williams was taken in, I think he was taken much later. I'm trying to find out. I had it here somewhere, but I lost it. So when you see a guy when you see a guy from that draft class that, let me make sure I've got this. I want to see where he was drafted. I know Walker was top of the second round. He was taken in the 5th round. Kyren Williams was taken in the 5th round. And Kyren Williams has had, to this stage, a more productive career than Kenneth Walker. He's had back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons, back-to-back 1,100-yard seasons, as the case may be. Has had 12 touchdowns rushing in each of the last 2 years. And if you look at his total touchdowns, he's had at least 15 touchdowns in each of the last 2 years. So this is production that Kenneth Walker has not yet hit. At the same time, there's no question in my mind, like zero question, that Kenneth Walker is a significantly more talented back than Kyren Williams. Now, Kyren Williams, one of the things that separates him and made him a candidate to get this extension where Kenneth Walker probably will not get it, at least before the season, is durability. You've seen from Kyren Williams that he's been in there pretty much every game, taking every carry and being the bell cow for the Rams. Kenneth Walker has not been able to do that consistently in his Seahawks career. And so he's waiting for the money where Kyren Williams is counting his. So I think that's going to be, an indication of the market for Kenneth Walker. If Kyren Williams, who's been much more productive and been more durable, was 3 years, $33 million, I would think Kenneth Walker would want more than that. I don't know there's a team that would pay him more than that until he's proven that he can stay on the field a little bit longer. So the Seahawks are most likely going to be playing a little bit of a game of chicken there, where they will not give him the money before the durability shows up and before the season. Kenneth Walker will come in, and if he performs to his expectations and is really a centerpiece of this offense, he could price himself out of what the Seahawks are willing to pay. And Seattle might be okay with that. Seattle might be like, hey, we're fine with Zach Charbonnet and Damian Martinez going forward, and we don't need to pay top of the market for a running back. So it's a really fascinating kind of set of variables in that particular position. It's not the most valued position in the NFL. It's one of the least valued positions. And you've got a really, I think, a challenging situation from a roster management perspective, in that Kenneth Walker is incredibly talented, really, really good. And I think it would be really hard to give him money ahead of seeing him stay on the field for a full season and be as productive as I think his talent indicates he should be. Other little bits of news. Pete Carroll, there's some conflicting reports. Yeah, you can take one if you want. Sure. Pete Carroll has indicated that he may be playing his starters on Thursday. Mike McDonald, when we talked on Saturday, indicated that his starters will not be playing. Now, John Boyle kind of quote tweeted and said, hey, I'm not sure this indicates that Pete Carroll's really going to play his starters, so we'll see. But if he does, that would mean Geno Smith is back on the field in Seattle, at least for a series or so. It would mean Ashton Genty is going to be out there. It's going to mean, Brock Bowers would be out there. And I wonder if he's really planning on playing his starters. I do wonder if that changes things at all for Mike McDonald. Generally, people don't know this, but coaches tend to talk to each other ahead of preseason games and kind of get on the same page about who they're going to play so that they can match up appropriately. Mike McDonald might not care. He might be like, no, we're going to play the guys we're going to play. It doesn't matter if they're playing their starters. Our backups will do the best they can if that's what he's going to continue to do. Based on what I'm seeing so far, I think it's hard to say of all 22 starters for the Seahawks, none of them will play. That seems unlikely just from a depth perspective. But who of those starters plays? I don't know. Like, example, Robbie Utes, who is just sitting next to me. I think Robbie, it would be surprising to me if you don't play Robbie Utes in a preseason game. It would be surprising to me if you don't play Nick Emanwari in a preseason game. These are guys that need to get reps and need to get experience and need to be experienced game day in the NFL. So I'd expect some of those guys to be out there, but maybe not. we're not going to know until Thursday comes around. Hopefully Mike McDonald will be back. He was out yesterday with what was deemed a personal day. Don't know what that is. Hopefully it's nothing bad. And we'll get to hopefully talk to the coach after practice today and find out a little bit more about his plans for the preseason game. Other than that, I will speak up again about what I'm seeing with the receiver room. I talked about this on my 53-man roster yesterday, where Torrey Horton, for me, has jumped Marquez Valdez-Scantling in terms of my stack ranking for which receivers are most likely to make this team. Now, the question becomes, does that mean that Torrey Horton could end up getting more snaps than MVS? I think the answer is yes. I don't know exactly, Torrey Horton and MVS are not the same receiver. Torrey Horton is not a classic X receiver. At the same time, Torrey Horton is, from what I've seen so far, he's one of the probably 2, at worst 3 best receivers in this receiver room. So he's got to get on the field. I have not seen it yet from MVS. I think he's got to start making plays. And if he hasn't gotten that message, now's a good time to hear it, because even though he's got a guaranteed contract with the Seahawks, which makes it very likely he will be on the final roster, I don't think that saves him in terms of reps, because if Torrey Horton is a player that's going to add more to this offense, and this offense needs every bit of performance it can find, then MVS will find himself on the sidelines. And the challenge there is MVS is not a special teams guy. So now you've got an expensive veteran, well, expensive meaning, $3.5 million. That's not that expensive, but you've got a veteran really not playing and probably not active on game days, even potentially. So then you're wondering, okay, is it really worth keeping a veteran on the roster that isn't contributing on special teams and might not even be active on game days? I think that conversation is, if it hasn't started inside this facility behind me, it's going to, unless MVS makes some real changes, or unless they're seeing his performance much differently than myself, and I think some of the other folks that are witnessing practice see it so far. I see that there's a couple super chats. Let me get to those. Wow, we got Smokehawk, Vince Ochoa, and Space have all gifted 5 Hawk Blogger memberships. That is 15 free Hawk Blogger memberships. All you got to do to get one of these free memberships is turn gifting on for your YouTube account. Google it if you don't know how to do that. Go over to the show, to the channel, like, subscribe, and watch the show, interact, comment, all those things. And YouTube will decide basically who's most worthy of getting one of these free memberships. I appreciate all you guys and your generosity. If you get one of these free memberships, consider upgrading to club level or higher. It gets you into the Discord channel where there's a lot of fun conversation. I'm hanging out there. It's a good way to kind of get to know everybody in the community. And then also, consider also paying it forward, gifting memberships to other people. So appreciate that. Smokehawk comes back with a super chat, says, do you know anything about the running back they just signed? So yeah, the Seahawks just signed a running back as of today. The quick answer to your question is no, not a guy that I have spent time on. So I'm looking again to get his name because I forgot. Anthony Tyus. Let's take a quick look at Anthony Tyus while we're here, since you asked. So 22 years old, played for the Northwestern Wildcats and the Ohio Bobcats. So he transferred to Ohio in 2024, had a 200-yard game while he was there. 6 feet tall, 220 pounds, so a big dude. Not the fastest guy, like a 4.6 40 kind of stuff. So yeah, I honestly, when guys are getting signed this late and getting signed to the running back room, I think that's more just rotation. I mean, they're obviously, everyone's going to get opportunities, but they don't want Zach Charbonnet taking carries in the preseason for the most part. Kenneth Walker is not going to get carries. So that means everything's going to go to George Holani and Damian Martinez. That's a lot of wear on those guys, and they're going to want to get Jacardia Wright, who's also going to get some. I think people are going to like watching Jacardia Wright when he gets carries this Thursday, but they want a fourth. They want other running backs available to kind of, they're going to run probably a lot in preseason the way they're going to run during the regular season, and so they want to have enough guys on the roster to do it. Let's see. I think that does it for super chats. I will tell you, for folks that are going over to patreon.com/hawkblogger, signing up there, or club level or higher and getting access to the Discord channel, I'm giving away 2 tickets to the Seahawks game against the Raiders. It's not a contest. It's nothing like that. But I do this pretty regularly, and sometimes I give them to my friends. Sometimes I give them, it depends on who's giving them to me and whatnot. But a lot of times I'll give them to patrons or club level or higher members. So I usually do it in Discord. I'm doing it that way this time. I'm not selling them. That's why I'm not putting on HB ticks. They're just free. I don't take money for tickets I give away, for tickets that someone gives to me or I have to give away. So yeah, it's another good reason to head over to patreon.com/hawkblogger and sign up there. All right. So outside of that, guys, I mean, I think that covers it. I'm going to try to talk to Kate Scott at some point today if I get a chance. She will be doing play-by-play. I think Kate's fantastic. I wish she would do play-by-play for more NFL games, to be honest. I think we're really fortunate to have her for preseason games. I think she's got a great voice. I think she's very sharp. And while she covers the 76ers as their primary play-by-play, she comes in here and does NFL stuff flawlessly. So we'll see if I can get her on, get her early impressions of the team. And if I get that, I'll either do it live or I'll record it and have it for you tomorrow. So we will see. Tomorrow is going to be interesting, by the way. I'm not sure. I probably will not come down here tomorrow because I think it's going to be a walkthrough and there won't be much to grab from it, unless there's someone speaking that I feel like I really need to be here for. So we'll have Real Hawk Talk Wednesday night. It'll be Nathan Ernst and Jeff Simmons on this week, so I'm looking forward to that. And then tonight, by the way, at 5 o'clock Pacific time, Seahawks Collective is back with Mike Dugar and Rob Staten. And for the first time, Annabelle Hasselback, yes, Matt Hasselback, one of his daughters, and really looking forward to having AB with us tonight and have you guys get a chance to meet her. She's great. She's going to be the host, so I will get to hand over hosting duties, which is music to my ears. I can't wait to just answer questions and not be the one asking all of them. So see you tonight at 5 o'clock for that. Might see you before then. Until then, I am Brian Emhauser. That'll do it for this episode of Hawk Blogger Mornings. Take care, y'all.